How's it going, everybody? We're back with another DC Worlds Collide video. I know it's been a hot minute. Sorry, my other game got really busy, but we got a big video today. I wanted to be talking about badges today and exploits. Not just a badge exploit, but the big exploit that was discovered a few days ago that didn't really get dealt with properly. But let's start with the fun stuff. Let's start talking about badges, because badges is a progression resource in this game that is fundamental in crafting the right sort of team. So if I go into Wonder Woman's badges, we can see here her first badge increases her crit by 10%. I mean, she scales off crit really well. This is big for her, right? But her tier 2 badge increases crit by 15% instead, and for every 1% of own crit rate, she gets crit damage by 0.5% as well, which is huge. And then her tier 3, the badge here, for every 1% of current crit rate increases crit damage by 1% instead. So this is just making this character scale more and scale more and scale more. But this is just a raw damage sort of badge. Then we have other badges like Lex Luthor. You can just tap it here, by the way. The first badge increases the shield absorption by 3%, so a bit of defense. The next one, additional shield damage absorption changes to 6%. While the shield is active, it also increases the defense by 20% and crit resistance by 20%. So we're now looking at a mechanical change and a very, very meaningful one. And the third tier, regardless of whether he has a shield, he will gain his shield and invite an ally to attack. That is a modifier to one of his abilities. So whenever I see something that modifies one of my character's kits, I know that that is a big thing. That is an important thing to lean into. And then, of course, there's the new legendary character Sinestro. If you look at his badges, I thought these were even more impactful. So it increases the maximum number of power collected fear to 10, which means that his ult can hit harder, depending on how you have his team set up. So the badge here would change how many debuff people I want on my Sinestro team, because he gets a power of fear every time an ally puts a debuff out. And I wanted to get to 10 instead of 6 before he does his ultimate. His tier 2, when collecting Power of Fear, there is a 20% chance of collecting an additional stack. So just what I was saying before, right? If I only have him at tier 1, I need to put more debuff characters around him. But if I get him to tier 2, I now need not half as many, but I need less reliance on people landing those debuffs, because there's a 20% chance he'll get more. And then in tier 3, when other allies add debuffs and the target is inflicted with fear, that's something that his ultimate does, increase additional chance of collecting to 100%. So all of a sudden he's getting just spammed with Power of Fears. It makes his next ult hit super hard. This is a really, really powerful metric to lean into. So badges are very, very hard to come by. This will lead us to our first exploit I want to shed light on. And I didn't get to take part in this. I'm kind of glad I did. There was apparently a button somewhere in the game. I don't know the very gritty details, but there was a button you could hit and you would claim 100 of the tier 2 resource. So tier 2 resource is this purple Inero Trinite. It's that resource. So there was 100 of that. It was a one-time bug that would give you, like, I don't know, maybe a half of a tier done for a character, like the beginning half. Not that big a deal, not game breaking, no reason to talk about re-rolling there. Probably just send it out to anybody who didn't get it yet. Send that extra 100 out to whoever didn't get it. Call it a day. It doesn't break the game, right? Besides that exploit, the places you get these badge tokens, I don't know what you'd call it, badge crystals to increase, well, there's a lot in the store. I've been leaning into the store to get as many as possible. I'm still kind of farming this titanium first, because I got to get my characters to the appropriate level, as that affects my entire roster. But before I got this store too high, I was seeing the tier 1 crystals. They were a little bit cheaper, and I kind of wish I took advantage and farmed that a bit more before pushing, because I do wish I had more of my characters at least tier 1, especially the characters I use in the arena. So this is one place to farm them. The other place to farm them is, I believe, in the Elite Arena shop. The Elite Arena shop, you can farm them here. Obviously, this is at a big cost, right? So instead of farming our legendary tokens, we could pivot and farm some of the tier 1, which I don't think this resource is worthy of your tier 1. But the tier 2, I kind of look at it now, because I look at these legendary characters and I don't have nearly enough purple character copies to upgrade them to keep up with how much resources we get for this Elite Arena shop. I'm not sure if that changes based on, like, I'm doing really well in the Elite Arena store, the Elite Arena mode right now. So maybe I'm getting more of this currency than, like, you will get at a regular pace. So I wouldn't spend it on that just yet. But if you get to the same position where I'm at, where I would love to upgrade my Wonder Woman. I could, right? She's got enough to do this, but I need 500 of these purple credits. This is a ginormous amount of purple characters needed, which is going to play into a big conversation we're going to have later on in this video. So from the Elite Store, I don't think that spending a little bit of this currency on the tier 2 is super bad. I don't think it's inadvisable if you get to the same position I'm at. So for whatever it's worth, I am going to be buying this now. If I'm crazy in the comment section and you are a very veteran player, please let us know if what I did was just dumb. But yeah, I can't keep up with the purple upgrade needs anyway, so why do I care about farming their legendary shards just yet? The League Shop, no, the League Shop doesn't have any of these either. So that's where we get it from the store. You could get it from the base shop for gold, and the tier 3 costs a lot of gems, or from the Elite Arena shop. Other sources that you're going to get it from are going to be from the Crisis Watch. This, if you're doing the higher difficulties, you're going to grab it from down here. You can see I'm getting my way in here through a little bit. This Crisis Watch is extremely difficult, but you will be getting a lot of this resource here, and that you do get it per stage win as well. I can't really show what I got. Oh, I can. There you go. So you see here, I got 20 of the tier 1 for doing this stage. So this is another source that you can get it. The third source, to my knowledge, if I'm remembering correctly, is the League Challenge, which is supposed to be right here. But the League Challenge was removed because there's something going on with it. We were in the middle of a League Challenge, so it's super unfortunate that we're not going to get all those rewards. Hopefully they just turn it back on. I don't know. There's a lot going on with the game right now on the back end that is sort of concerning. But that's my knowledge is the 3 places to get the badges. So that's going to be your shops, Crisis, and then the League Challenge. If I missed any, guys, please in the comment section, let us all know. And that's the badge system in a nutshell. Really, really big buffs to your characters. A big investment, because this is one of the investment tracks that you can't recall. So, like, I put Superman at the top of tier 1. I don't know if I would do that, because I would love to, say, get Gorilla Grodd up there, because I use Gorilla Grodd to rely on him a little bit more than I do Superman now, even though Superman is still pretty good. I don't hate myself for doing that. I just kind of wish I knew what I was doing more at the time of. But I was alluding to an issue that I was having with ranking up characters, right? Like, I have pulled so much Sinestro. I have 185 ready for Sinestro. I could theoretically get him to 5 stars if I had the purple tickets to do it. And that's going to lead us to a big exploit that has been rearing its head in the community for about 4 or 5 days now. Was reported to developers, to my knowledge, 3 days ago, and was just dealt with yesterday. So people were taking advantage of this in mass. I'm not sure how many people took advantage in mass. We'll talk about what the developers can, should, and maybe will do as a result of this. But essentially, there was an issue with system recovery. We'll talk about system recoveries in a second, where you were able to essentially farm what is supposed to be one-time rewards, first-time clear rewards, infinitely. And so that calls into question this encrypted token economy, which is obviously one of your main resources in getting those purple character shards that someone like me absolutely needs. And of course, all of you need these as well, right? And so the fact that that economy is busted is not great. Also, I believe gems are called into question as well because of this buff. And certainly, orange gear is called into question depending on how hard you're able to push system recovery. So system recovery was like the secondary campaign. It was up here in the right-hand corner. And the way this exploit worked, and I will explain it now. I would not have before because I don't want to encourage people to do it. Essentially, if you 1 or 2 starred a given system recovery node, you're able to farm that node infinitely. So system recovery had 3 conditions in which to clear. The victory would award the first one, clearing with a certain type of character would award the second one, and clearing within 5 turns or clearing with all of your allies alive. Like, there were different conditions for the third one. If you cleared a node, having only completed 2 of those conditions, you could hit the node again. And I definitely did this by accident sometimes, because the way it worked was the first one's victory conditions, the second one would be clear without using any mighty character, intellect character, any agility character, and the third one would be clear in a certain amount of turns. So what I was doing for a lot of these while I was clearing them is I was using a full intellect and agility team to fulfill the first 2 criteria, and then I would go back in with my Wonder Woman, who's a strength character, my hardest hitter, and she would help me clear it within 5 turns. And so I was definitely benefiting from this bug at a small scale. I probably did maybe six to 12 different nodes that I cleared that way because I was going pretty pretty high up in the difficulty, and I couldn't adhere to both the clear in X amount of turns and only use certain characters. But there were lower tiers that you could absolutely farm. And people did, and there were gems as rewards, there were the encrypted tokens as rewards, and there was orange gear as rewards if you got high enough. And people were able to farm. One person that came forward and told me about this bug, explained it to me, farmed up to 750 of these encrypted tokens. No idea how many gems that was. I don't want to know. And that leads us to the conversation of what the hell can DC Worlds Collide do about this? First of all, the response time was abysmal, and that raises a huge red flag for me. If this was indeed reported to them 2 or 3 days ago, and they didn't remove it until like 13 hours or 14 hours ago, whatever this Discord message I'm showing on the screen shows, that's a big concern to me that they do not have the approach, because that was during the weekdays. That wasn't even on a weekend. That tells me that the manpower being put into this game is not good. Because a bug, an exploit on that level that people were actively taking advantage of during that window should have been handled toot fucking sweet, right? Like, that is a huge issue. It really invalidates any sort of spending people might have done as far as the competition goes, and it puts into question all the economies of whatever rewards were in System Recovery, puts into question that, right? So what should DC Worlds Collide to do? In a perfect world, because this is soft launch, they should do the extreme. They should shut the game down, find out who took advantage of that. Don't ban them, because the first exploit that was found, that people were getting 100 of that badge currency, if you didn't take advantage of that, you felt left out, which incentivizes a culture just like we have in Marvel Strike Force, which is exploit early and exploit often. I don't think you ban those characters, or those players. What you do is you re-roll them back to whatever they would be. You isolate however many resources they got. The fact that we are in soft launch means that they should be able to do this with our current smaller player pool. That, I think, is the smartest thing to do. Or maybe you don't have to take the game down, but you do got to isolate, find out how much of that resources was earned by every player, and deduct that from them. If that puts people at a minus 750 encryption token, and they need to work their way back up, that's what you do, right? You let them keep the goodies, I guess, or you deduct the goodies from them based on what they pulled. Like, there's so much extra steps that you would need to do once people start opening these that it becomes mind-boggling. You would almost need to re-roll the servers up until when this bug was initially, exploited for the first time. The first time somebody did the same node 10 plus times, you would need to re-roll all the servers to that point, which is that's a crazy idea, right? The second thing that they could do is they've re-rolled the entire servers. They've restarted the servers, and you set this bitch live, man. This game, I just talked about how it doesn't appear they have the manpower to run this game appropriately. If I'm wrong, and I hope I am, good. It's time to launch this game globally. There are so many people waiting in the wind to play this damn thing. This is a fully fleshed out game. You already have like 10 to 15 characters that you're going to be rolling out. There's Killer Frost, Sinestro's being rolled out. You just rolled out Raven. You rolled out Green Lantern. Reset this bitch, set it globally, grow your community, because this game has so much potential. But this is actually a game-breaking exploit that has happened. If they don't handle this properly, it will set the tone for the entire game, and I know a lot of spenders, myself included, my wallet's done. My wallet is put away until this is resolved. Because I don't want to exploit, because you never know when's going to be the time a company will decide to ban. They got to set the tone for how they're going to, tackle exploits. They got to set the tone on what they're going to do when it's their system that has an issue. Because at the end of the day, it was their system. It's not like somebody had an APK hack or something like that. And they got to let this community know what the fuck is going on. What is the deal with this game? Because this game is good. It's good, and this community should be so much bigger than it is already if they just hit that button and go global. Anyway, guys, let me know what you feel about this exploit issue. Let me know if I was off base on the badges or if my takes are crazy. Obviously, something has to be done. I don't want to see any players banned. That'd be a horrible thing to do when the game is just starting. And at the end of the day, man, they should have taken System Recovery down when it was announced. And the League Challenge coming down, God help me. I hope there wasn't some sort of exploit where people were getting those first-time rewards infinitely, too. Jesus. Anyway, you guys have yourselves a wonderful day. We'll have more videos coming up on the channel. I'm still trying to figure out the best way to tackle the Sinestro boss, but I don't have the purple tickets to advance certain characters that I think excel on that bus. Anyway, have yourselves a wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.